to the computer. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about chapter 7 today. This is the last chapter that we're going to cover on this first test. Let me see, how many chapters do we have in the book here? I'm going to look real quick. I think it's like 16, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 21. Yeah, 16 chapters. So we've covered almost half the book, y'all. Pretty good, right? And to knock all that out on one test is pretty good. And that was intentional so we can have some days where y'all can brainstorm. And that's what I want y'all to do now. Y'all don't skip out on me Thursday and not show up. It's a good opportunity to throw ideas around and help each other kind of formulate this next part. Especially after I turn it, you know, when I give you back your feedback on what you turned in, you'll have kind of some more guidance on try to fix that maybe if I get it to you in time before you come to class next time. And then you can work on the next section with a little help with some other people to throw some ideas and give you some, you know, the more brains you can put at it, the better. So don't just take them as a day off. We're going to try to have some work days thrown in, and that's why we're hitting it hard and heavy right now. So let me share my screen now that we've covered that. And we'll go to chapter 7, PowerPoint. And today what we're talking about is marketing and advocacy. And as you know, a big part of anything where you are offering a product, whether it is something that people are going to buy, something that people are going to participate in, something that people need, how do they know about it? Marketing, right? If you don't have marketing, marketing is something that has blown up over the years. Like it used to be, you could put an ad in the newspaper. You could maybe hang up a handmade flyer on a store window, something like that. Now you can get stuff put on Facebook. You can, social media is big for marketing. You can connect with, recreation therapy specific sites and get your information out there. The homepage on a website, we've talked about some of this before, of how some of the things we talk about, mission and vision statements and things like that, are exactly what you would think you would see when you open up page 1 of, recreational health services in Boonville. We offer therapeutic recreation services for individuals with, it's all that stuff. That's marketing. And the catchier it is, the clearer it is, the easier to understand that it is, the better. That's the thing. So, but these are two very different topics to be in the same title. Marketing is 100% different from advocacy, which is a big role that we play in recreation therapy, and that we advocate for our patients and our clients, and that we have to have an advocacy role. That's a big part of what we need to do at times. We have patients that don't have family members that care about their well-being. We have patients that are unable to speak up for themselves or don't feel like they are empowered enough to do so. Me, as per like the code of ethics and per just my personal conviction, I'm going to advocate for somebody in that position. And I would like to think that you guys would too. That's part of being a good professional, and it's part of just being a good person, honestly. So some trends that are influencing marketing. We've talked a lot about trends in this class already. Now think about this again. This is a administrative course where you're talking about being in a managerial role and things like that. So there's trends influencing marketing. There's an increasing use of technology by consumers. We talked about that. You can buy ads, to put on social media sites. You can, if you want your ad to stand out, you can add another $20 to make your ad be yellow, and stand out or be the top one, things like that. Technology is huge. That's where everybody is seeing marketing these days. It's not, you know, it's not really a form of marketing, but the best thing you can do is provide good services where your people go out and you get word of mouth advertisement. There's your marketing right there. When you have people that can say, I worked with them, they're awesome, go see them. You think that's going to carry more weight than something somebody reads on the internet? Absolutely. There are constrained resources and rising healthcare costs, and it results in consumers applying value criteria to health decision, which means that, you know, instead of just looking for the best treatment they can get, they're looking for the best treatment at the best price. They want value. They want services, products at the best prices they can get. So they're not just looking for, you know, the best care or the best product. They're also looking at what value comes along with it. How much do I have to pay for this? How long of us, you know, if you're offering sessions, well, I get an hour and a half session here for $60, but I get a 2-hour session here for $60. I'm throwing $60, and I was thinking about massages because I could really use one right now. I wish I could get a 2-hour massage for $60. See, I was also, you know, being very optimistic with that statement. But anyway, you know, that's the kind of things that consumers, or the people that we are going to be working with and for, look at. Diversity of client needs and a growing aging population. Have y'all seen how that comes through all of our recreation therapy classes right now? Eventually that's going to change in the curriculum. Right now, everything I say, the aging population is growing. It's a boom in the aging population. That's where we have tons of opportunity. They need recreation therapists. You know, but it's true. Now, we talked about where marketing takes place, right? Internet, primarily, you know, through technology. What's the problem? They're older, so they don't. Yep, they're not real technologically savvy for the most part. Welcome, ladies. Glad y'all joined us this afternoon. Good to see y'all. We are just barely started in chapter 7 here. We're going to finish this up, and then I'm going to give you your test. Okay, so that's where we are. You know, it's not really something that they made a big deal about in the book, but it's just something you need to know. We're talking about the aging population is growing rapidly. We talked about marketing trends have gone to technology. The older population is not very technologically savvy. They don't use Facebook or well, they can probably use Facebook, but they're not as good, you know, not as effective on technology as you and I would be. Societal and social marketing consider individual and community health benefits. So when you're putting out marketing, if you're wanting to really make an impact, you need to show not only are we going to help the individual by us being here and by us providing this service, we're going to help the community by getting people healthier. We're going to help people by making them more functional. Or, you know, whatever the case may be, you want to show that you're going to impact individuals and the community. So people are going to buy in. And that plays into that word of mouth, where if somebody says, hey, do you know anywhere where my aunt could get some help? Oh yeah, I saw this place, you know, and it starts spreading around. So not really marketing, but word of mouth is big. So what is marketing? What does it do? It accomplishes organizational objectives by creating voluntary exchanges with target groups. That's important, okay? Do we want to, as a therapeutic recreation specialist, would we want to target the USA Olympic team? My answer would be no. Why? We're talking about high-level athletes that are in good shape, who have support systems, who have sports psychologists, who have basically everything they need and are being catered to already. Okay, that's why I chose them. They strictly, now, would there be some exceptions? Yes, very few when we're talking about Olympic athlete. And I'm not saying Special Olympics. I'm talking about like the Olympics. So we're creating voluntary exchanges with a target group. We wouldn't want to target Olympic athletes saying, hey, this is what we can offer you, because they're gonna be like, I don't need that. You know, find the target groups, try to target demographics that you're gonna actually be able to reach that need our services. As a manager, you need to anticipate the client's needs and need to direct need satisfying services to stakeholders. We need to let them know in marketing statements and marketing what we put out and build, that we're going to, a big word here, anticipates. We need to anticipate what people are looking for. Okay. If you anticipate what people are looking for, then that's going to guide how you direct your marketing. We need to anticipate what needs they have, direct what we're going to do, what we talk about in our information, to things that we think are going to address their needs. Need a service valued as essential by the client to meet desired outcome, like improved health. So if we want to target like Mississippi, we are not safe. It should be easy to market fitness in this state. Okay. It should be easy to get people to sign up for your gym if you run a gym in this state, because we're one of the most obese, we're one of the most unhealthy states out there. There's a lot of things that you can put out there. So people, whether they're doing anything right now, they know that there's a need for them to improve their health, for them to lose weight, for them to get in better shape. So that's a target. We anticipate that need. We know that that need is there. We target that in our marketing strategy to the people that we're trying to reach. Y'all with me on that? And how Mississippi is a prime example, and that would be a good example of how we have directed marketing strategies. So when we're talking about, no, this one brand new today. I told them. So as far as target and social marketing, target marketing is designing services to meet the needs of distinct population that have common needs. Like their needs are like clients, caregivers, and peer professionals. So those are the type people that we're directing and we're designing services to meet. We're either trying to reach out to clients that need specific information, caregivers for clients, like this is how we can help you. This is what we offer. We provide respite services for caregivers who need time to get out and pay bills and go to work. This is what we can offer in our recreation therapy department. You can bring them to us for the day, so there we're targeting the caregivers. When we target the clients, this is what we offer for activities. This is how we can help you. Peer professionals, you're getting your information out to them where they can give you referrals and such. Social marketing considers the impact of individual benefits on the community. We talked about that. When we help people get more healthy, when we help people get happier, when we help people be more self-sufficient, is that going to benefit the community? Yes. So improving the health of the clients, that is going to help reduce lost work time due to illness. That's a good correlation that we can build and throw into our marketing strategy. And that's an example of social marketing and how it's going to help. Okay. People won't miss as much work because they're going to be in better shape, they're not going to be sick as much because of what we're able to offer them. So you got to have a market strategy. So if you're going to have a market strategy, you have to identify a target market. You know, who are we trying to reach? Who are we targeting with this? You know, this is specific group that you're trying to reach. Like we just said, is it going to be the client? Are we trying to reach caregivers? Are we trying to reach peers? We need to decide who the target group is. So we identify a target market, develop a marketing mix to establish and maintain a mutually beneficial relationship between the unit and the target group. Okay. Important. We need to show that there's, hey, we can help you, you can help us. You know, if you can make people see that there's a mutually beneficial relationship, that goes a long way with getting people to buy into what's happening. Marketing mix is the tool the manager uses to influence the target market's demand for services. And it has 4 P's that you need to remember. These are important. These are good. They're good use when you think of your marketing. When you're putting information out, you have to discuss your product, which is what you're offering, right? Regardless of the case, whether you're a salesman and you're trying to sell cars, you got to show your product if you want to sell them. The price. How many of y'all hate looking at, say, you see an advertisement for a car? Love it. You click on it and it says call for price. Y'all, I get too mad. You think I'm gonna call them? Hell no. That is so. Remember that if you're putting something together, be transparent, because what they're doing, they're not being transparent. They're piquing your interest. They're putting up some flashy pictures and making you like it. And then they say call for price. And I'm just like, nope. Click. You see what that non-transparency does to a lot of people? Now you think they still get some calls on it? Yeah, but is it as effective as it would be if they would just go ahead and put the price where people knew up front? No, that's what they get. Sorry, that hit a nerve. That happened to me recently on a vehicle. So product needs to be clear. The price needs to be clear. Your place, you know, where is it going to be located? Along with that, think about things like times that it's going to be available, times that things are offered. If it's an activity or something like that, our hours of operation are. That type of stuff needs to be put out there. And then promotion, if you have a special promotion that you can put in place, you know, everybody has promotions, and that's your special times where you give, you know, right now you can get an extra 10% off. If you type in hot dog, you can get, you know, whatever the case may be. Y'all have all seen these promotions where if you do a certain thing, you get an added benefit. If you have the opportunity to put that into a market strategy, that's always a good thing. Promotions are just like attention getters, really. So your market plan, you need to have a strategic document. It's going to outline target market, the values and the strategies to establish exchange relationships. So number one, your market plan is a strategic document, which means that you're probably going to have multiple people that are going to be discussing your marketing plan and brainstorming and coming together. You think one person's going to sit down and do it, or you think you'd get a better one if you had more than one person throwing ideas? Might it get a little confusing and a little bit of headbutting? Yeah. But are you going to come out with a better product? Absolutely. So I always suggest in situations like that, you use the brain power that you have available. So in your document, you outline your target market, who you're trying to reach, what values you have. You know, this is what we offer, and we want to be the best. We want to give you the best customer service. We want to, you know, we're going to follow up. We're going to help you get better, whatever your values are. And then your strategies to establish exchange relationships, which means just relationships with potential clients. or potential buyers, whatever the case may be. You know, I'm throwing it out there because sometimes it's easier to understand this marketing when you think about like car sales or something like that. But you're still talking about, if you have recreation therapy services and a recreation therapy clinic somewhere with 15 of the best recreation therapists available and all of the best equipment, and you got virtual reality equipment, and you've got a heated pool, and you've got a rock wall, and you've got, you know, lifts to help people get in and out of the pool that are non-ambulatory. I'm just saying, you have the best of the best. What good does it do you if you don't get the information out to the public? If you don't market it? I mean, nobody knows it's there, right? So you spend a ton of money, a ton of effort, a ton of to brought in all these people. You've got all this brain power and all this information and all of this experience ready to roll. Nobody even knows you're there without this marketing plan. So that's what it's all about, is getting it out there. Now, this is kind of important, and I like it, like API. Now, I want y'all the rest of the way in. I want y'all to think of API with a D on the end of it, okay? I know we're late in the game, but a lot of things, after talking to Isabel Scheffler, who was one of our students that came through, she's in grad school at Tennessee for TR. Number one, she said that the stuff, she knows everything they're talking about, so that's good. She also said that all of their, almost everything that they're working with has documentation at the end. So let's think of it as API instead of API. Just throw that on at the end, and remember that D is for documentation. Okay. So the manager in a situation just like API, which we can leave the D out at this case, the manager follows a process to conduct a SWOT analysis. What's a SWOT analysis? What does the letter stand for? Who knows? Y'all done these before. I know y'all know. You're looking at like benefits of doing things. You do a SWOT analysis. Strengths. Out of way, y'all are waiting now. Opportunities and threats. Threats, like what could get in the way of our success? Not direct, you know, threats. We're talking about, yeah, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about threats to success, basically, a SWOT analysis. So you're looking at all of those things. Remember, y'all write that down if you don't know it. SWOT analysis, you need to know it before you get out of here. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Those are like, it's kind of like a brainstorming session when you're looking at something, okay? That's basically what you're doing. You're looking at all those things and you're listing those out, and then you look at, you know, like risk reward. Are the opportunities that we have, do they outweigh the threats that are potentially there, or the things that can hold us back? Are we going to be successful? Are our strengths, you know, stronger than our weaknesses so we can be successful? That's the kind of things you need to look at. So you develop a business profile, a design action plan, and evaluate the impact of the plan. Now this is kind of, you see what we're seeing here. Develop a profile, you design an action plan, and then you see that word evaluate, which is at the end of API, but you evaluate the impact of the plan. We'll talk more about that in just a second. All right, so marketing plan assessment. We're going to go right into the API like model and use it for this. So for your assessment, you determine your overall marketing goals. Who are we marketing to? How many people do we want to reach? You know, how much money are we going to put into this whole process? You identify your target markets. That's very, very important. If you market the wrong individuals and hit the wrong target, you're wasting time, you're wasting effort, you're wasting money. You're also identifying needs, trends, trends is a common word we're having in all these classes because that's what life is. Life is about trends. Everything, it was bell bottoms, and then it was skinny jeans, and then it was roll your pants up at the bottom, and then and then things come back around. That's trends. That's life. So what trends are going on? What needs are out there? Who's our competition? How much are we going to be able to grow? So when you're marketing, you need to look at all those things. Then you develop your target market, goals and objectives. There's those dirty words again, goals and objectives. Not the same as when we're working with our individuals, but y'all understand that goals are like our big things still, and objectives are kind of the smaller steps to help us be successful in reaching our goals that we have towards our target market. Okay. All right, we've moved to the P section, planning. During the planning portion, the manager is going to develop a business profile that's going to help them to forecast income and expenses for target market action plans. Okay. How much is it going to cost us to get the word out? What kind of return do we expect to see from this? That's part of the planning process. You have to justify, somebody above you is going to be saying, does this make sense financially? We can't lose money on this, that you're going to have somebody saying that all the time. So then the manager develops action plans guided by market position statement for each target market. So you have to look, if you have multiple target markets, you may have a very specialized situation where you are targeting people who are non-ambulatory, who are not unable to walk, or people who have spinal injuries, or people with spina bifida, an autism center. Those are very specific individual groups that you're talking about marketing to. If you're going to market to more than one, you need to have kind of a different statement, plan, way to reach out to each one of those. So you're going to develop action plans to reach out in a marketing fashion to each one of those groups. Where can we advertise for people who have had injuries while at war? Just for an example, certain magazines that military would be, certain television channels, certain websites, certain groups on Facebook. Different, you just have to target according to who you are actually trying to reach. And if you have different ones, you have to have a different plan for each one, is all that's saying. Your plan identifies the marketing strategy for each target group. Just like I said, the strategy includes the marketing P's and the service P's. Okay, let's talk about that. That's back what we were talking about before. Product, price, place, and promotion. Very small on there. You have to look at that in regards to marketing and service, okay? Now we're moving on. Implementation as far as your market plan. Managers are going to connect to and influence stakeholder behavior. Stakeholders are the people that we're talking about working with, that we want to bring in. They have a stake in what we're offering. They want to see benefits from what we are offering to them. So we want to connect to them and we want to influence them. Your marketing style guides and timetables help managers present their messages. If you don't, I think that's important in any sort of thing. We're talking about a plan. If you're doing if you have a plan, do you need to have a timetable? Absolutely. If you don't have a timetable, when's it going to get done? It's easy. You know what I mean? There is no thing. You have to put it there. You have to have a timetable, especially if you have multiple people working on like a project or something. All right, as the manager, okay, listen, this is kind of important. As a manager, you need to be able to, if you're going to delegate, and we're talking about timetables, say, all right, Hunter, I need your portion on Tuesday at, by noon, where I can put this together and present to the group. Kimberly, I need your part on Thursday by 4 o'clock. You give everybody like their time frames. Is everybody going to meet their time frames? No. If they don't, you just have a chat with them and see why not. Sometimes there's good reasons. Sometimes they're just lazy. You never know. It just depends on the situation. So in order to implement their plans, managers have several strategies that they can use. And when we're talking about marketing, our marketing plan, branding, Nike has done a great job of branding. Everybody knows what Nike is about, right? It's athletics. When you think Nike, you know exactly what it is. They have branded themselves perfect. If you want to make something catchy, come up with a good logo that's going to be memorable, that's going to grab somebody's eye, and taglines. Empire commercial on TV. 800-588-2300 Empire. Y'all might not have that. I'm sorry. I just said their phone number. I could call them right now. I don't even know what they do. I don't remember, but I know their damn phone number, and I could call them right now because they had a tagline that, that's their marketing strategy, y'all. Y'all remember that song if you hear it enough, and I do. So that shows you what logos and taglines can do as far as marketing. Bundling. Okay. That's just saying if you do this, we can also offer this. Does that make things more appealing? Yeah. Is that used all the time as a strategy? Bundling things together. Oh Lord, DirecTV and AT&T are tied together some kind of way, and they call me, and well, hell, all my stuff's bundled. Matter of fact, they talked me into it. See, it works, y'all. Bundling. Digital networks. That's a strategy where you can reach a lot of people. Digital networks are just kind of sharing through, you share to people, they share to somewhere else. You put something on LinkedIn and say, hey, can all of y'all share this for me? And then you share it. Now you're hitting the digital networks. You're reaching a bunch of people. Now, just like anything else, and here's the D that we talked about, and we hadn't even got to the E yet on the APOD. But when you choose strategies and you're going to implement your plans, you need to document benefits and outcomes to see whether it worked or not. Also, for the people that you're going to serve, you need to say in your marketing plan, part of your marketing plan is to say, this is what we can offer you. These are the benefits you're going to see. This is the outcome we expect you to have. When you leave here, you're going to be better than when you came. You're going to be more ready to, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be faster. Whatever the case may be, you need to tell them in writing, in your marketing materials, what their benefits are going to be and what you expect their outcome to be. So evaluation and control of marketing. You determine if action plan goals are achieved. So you're evaluating, was your action plan successful? Hey, we're going to reach out to wounded veterans. We're going to use this strategy. This is going to be our logo. This is going to be our song. This is going to be where we're going to put the information out. Did it work? Did you meet the goals that you thought? Because you're going to say up front that we hope to reach this many people. We hope to pull in this many potential clients. And then that's where you say, did we achieve that? If you set numbers, it's easy to say whether or not you reached it or not. Identify financial outcomes. Was it successful? Did we bring in people? Did we bring in money? Or did we spend more money on marketing and advertisement than we did getting clients in? If so, you might want to look at a new marketing director, or you might want to look at a new strategy. You know, I mean, you got to find this stuff out. Improve efficiency and impact of market expenditures. That's exactly what I just was talking about. You know, how much of an impact did you have from the money you spent and the market that you targeted? Was it efficient? The amount of money you spent, was it efficient? What kind of impact did it make? At that point, the manager needs to determine if the unit is pursuing the best opportunities with respect to their target markets, the services that they're offering and telling about in their marketing plan, and their marketing strategies. You know, this is the evaluation and control portion. And this may be an upper management type of thing. It just depends on the facility and how large it is and who's actually in control. You know, is it just a recreation therapy facility? Then you may be the one making these decisions. You may be the marketing guru. You know, you don't have the money to hire in someone to do it. You may be trying to do the marketing. So, you know, the manager, it may be you, it may be someone above you, has to do this evaluation to learn from it. You know, if it worked, use that strategy again. If it didn't, scrap that, try something different. That's, you know, kind of common sense right there. As a manager, we have to use advocacy. So we're the primary link to others in the agency and the community. We're that intermediate person that's in between our clients, that's in between our staff and the community. So we're the person that can get the word out there. So we need to articulate the merits of recreation therapy to stakeholders, people who can benefit from it. That's what I want you to think of when you think stakeholders. They can benefit from what we're offering. They are a stakeholder. So we need to be able to articulate what recreation therapy can do for you. You know, we need to really sell it, be able to do that. And to be able to do that, we need to have the knowledge base of what we actually really can. You know, don't be feeding them a bunch of bull. Don't say, hey, we can do aquatic therapy with them, and we can, when you don't have a pool. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to know what's available, what you can do, but you also need to match it to what you have and the type of expertise you have. And your other recreation therapists and workers have as well. You know, the manager is going to use evidence-based practices to present the outcomes. So, you know, we've talked about evidence-based situations before and how they are useful for us. Evidence-based means, hey, something was tried, the results were documented. Now you can look at this short little abstract and see they did this, it was successful. They did this, it was unsuccessful. Okay, basically that's what you're talking about by documenting and as far as evidence-based practice. It saves you time, it saves you effort. If you use evidence-based practice, you are taking things that have been successful before and using those and not trying things that have been proven to be unsuccessful. So when you write down what you have, you are adding your marketing strategies to evidence-based practice for other people that have similar situations. You see the merit of doing that and why we need to do that, because it helps other people. And I mean, everything needs to be documented anyway, really. So it needs to be there. Manager monitors legislation. When you hear legislation, you think of, you know, state capitol and things like that. Now, as an advocate, we really do, as a manager, we would be the person to try to, like, say, I was talking about this in 262 the other day, okay? Did ADA, which is perhaps the biggest law that helps against discrimination for people with disabilities in the country, did it just appear one day? Just somebody, it just showed up on the books? No, what happened? Somebody was discriminated against because they had a disability, right? So what happened? For there to be a bill or a document like ADA, an act that's placed in the books, it has to go through legislation, okay? So it has to be introduced. Somebody has to go like to a legislator and form some kind of look and say, who is somebody who might actually back this idea and push this? Because it's a whole process you have to go through for legislation. As a manager, you'd be the person who would be doing this pushing. You need to make contact with a legislator. If there was a situation that arose like this, you need to know whether they have the potential to actually, if they have a record of voting for things that are recreation therapy forward, for people with disabilities. Does it support people with disabilities? If you're trying to push something like that, you need to pick the proper legislature later. And then you need to make a contact with them, get to know them a little bit, and then you kind of hit them with the, hey, I think we need to talk to your compadres about this. You're the person who would spearhead something like this legislation. Just think of like ADA, it had to start somewhere. It went through this whole process. We're the person who would be in the middle. The manager also engages in professional association initiatives. Professional associations are things like Mississippi Recreation and Park Association, National Recreation and Park Association. What's a big one for therapeutic rec? Start at the beginning of the alphabet. American Therapeutic Recreation Association. That's right. That's a big one. We're talking about if you want your people to be involved, or if you want to get word out where these professional associations, they help to push things like legislation through too. That's strength in numbers. And that's a good place to spread information, right? Because you've got a ton of people there. You've got a lot of people's ears in one place, right? So the manager is going to be then the one that will engage in professional association initiatives, which is where you're trying to get ideas out there or to start things through and in professional associations. Okay, that's it. We have gone through 7 chapters. The test that I'm about to give you, y'all have taken my classes before. Most of y'all have had my tests like this. This test is not going to be the simplest test you've ever seen. If everybody makes a 20 on it, then I'll look and make some arrangements, to help y'all out a little bit. I'm not going to flunk everybody in the class. That's not going to happen. I'll say this. I did y'all a solid. If I recall correctly, I believe that the questions in this test, when I put it together, are going to kind of be in the order they're even found in the book. So how sweet is that? I mean, I'm too nice to you guys. I should have mixed them up and made it harder than that. You get 1 free miss. It's a 100-point test, and if I recall, I think it's 51. Yeah, 51 questions. So one of them is just going. You can make up to 102 on it if you get them all. I suggest a couple things. Let me get out of this right here for the ones who aren't here. Let me share screen somewhere else real fast. So I'm going to go back to our area, and you go to the content area. And for each chapter, y'all, there's like chapter 1 summary. If you guys look at these, I'm not sure if this will go, but if y'all would look at this stuff, I'm not talking about you have to go through and answer every one of these. I mean, the answers are there for you. It gives you good summaries of the chapters. It won't take you long to look it over. You will find some of the answers to these questions in these summaries. So use the summaries, use the PowerPoint, and use your book. If you want to, if you take this test and it's hard to you, next time, read the chapters. If you hadn't been reading the chapters and have not read the chapters, it would make this a whole lot easier. Okay, y'all have any questions? Okay, so I'm going to give these to y'all. I want y'all to bring them back to me next Tuesday class. Isn't that what we agreed on? A 1 week? Okay, so you bring them back next Tuesday to class. If for some unknown reason you're not going to be able to be here on Tuesday, you need to get it in my box that day or before. Okay, don't get it late. Get it to my box or to me, or be here on that day. And best case scenario would be to be here next Tuesday. Thursday, just because we're doing this test now, come in here, use the time. I'm not going to come in here and talk with y'all. I want y'all, as a manager, y'all need to learn how to work with others, to speak up, to throw ideas around, and share information with other people. So I want to see y'all talking, interacting, and working on your project on Thursday. And that's important. And I promise it will be useful for you if you take the opportunity. By Thursday, I plan to have all your things graded unless something just happens and I can't. I'm trying hard. So here's your test. Everybody look at them and make sure that they're printed front and back. As I handed last year, I handed out some tests, and about half of the class got tests that didn't have any questions on the back of them, and that was a problem. It's right here. Y'all will do fine, guys. Y'all have been showing up for class. We've covered most everything that's going to be on the test. If it's not there, get in your book, because that's why I make these tests hard, to make you kind of dig through the things that we didn't have the time to cover. Okay. Y'all have a good one. See y'all Thursday.